you have a core self. This core self is, and what's ever there is some blueprint for the emergence as you grow and develop. And it can shift a bit over time how that expresses, but still there is a core self. Doesn't mean it stays static the whole lifetime, but it's there. So what happens? You're born into a world where there are different structures. There's a, the zeitgeist, like fears of a culture, or something going on in the world. Cultural memes, different ways that you have learned to behave within your culture. And speaking of millennials, there are cultural memes that make millennials different from whatever it is I am, my pattern from my age. And then there are systems that we're in: school systems, work systems, family systems, community systems, all of those. And those happen, situations happen, and then they kind of put pressure on the core self, right? It even starts when babies start to walk, be careful, don't fall, all kinds of things. And then we have some current behavior with that pressure. So you have choices in this situation. You can adapt to it, or you do something with it. So whatever it is you're doing in response to the situations that come in from external, it's your contextual self. So that, once you do it over and over again, responding to those pressures, there's something else happens. The core self has its own set of needs and values and things that need to be expressed, and so they can push out. And what happens then is we adapt and we grow. And that growth can come from within, and it also can be triggered by what happens without. And this is what we call the developed self. Now, I like to say that the developed self is who you really are. Actually, you're more than that, but it's a very important aspect of yourself. But in our work with personality differences, we're looking to do two things. One is to get to the core self, to peel away the layers that we've taken on over time, and help some people have to reclaim that core self because they weren't allowed to be that way. And so that's what the peeling of the layers is. And then also for those of us who were lucky enough to have been allowed to be who we were, there's also an aspect of the core self that still can be better understood because we don't learn in school or from our families words to describe who we are. So having a language to describe who we are. So as we do this work, we're helping people get back to, or to understand themselves at their core, and to understand others. And we're also, in this work, opening the door for the natural patterns of development and honoring the various ways that we have developed. So we want to do this in a way that isn't putting someone in a box and isn't getting, and so we want to, in a way, think outside that box, and yet know what's at the center in it, if you will. So that's what we're up to. And it is what we call the constant core. So it's kind of reassuring to know that for some of us, it's reassuring to know that some things stay the same.